What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby, or Spaceman Chuck, and I know it's been a minute, but I am back with another review, and this time it is for Scream 6, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. So let's just jump right into it. I'm glad to report that Scream 6 is the best entry within the horror comedy franchise in the past 2 decades, revitalizing the comedic direction while doubling down on its slasher antics. Directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette returned this time around to deliver a much more focused title, shedding away this urgency of its legacy cast to focus on this new batch of characters. Doing so provides a proper balance of old school thrills and new age direction. It manages to be campy, sleek, and a whole lot of fun. And though its reveal might feel a bit contrived, it's done so in a manner that prioritizes the franchise's cheeky self-awareness over legacy sequel sensibilities. Where last year's entry felt a bit confused in terms of what it was trying to accomplish, Scream 6 manages to hit those thrilling highs without losing what makes the franchise so special in the first place. It still doesn't hold a candle to Craven's original, but it certainly quenches a horror comedy craving that still feels untapped within this new market. Scream 6 picks up shortly after the events of the last one, finding our sister leads, Sam and Tara Carpenter, played by Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega respectively, in New York City. While Tara attends college, her sister is still traumatized by the violent events caused by her ex-boyfriend, opting to stay close to the only family she has left. Her obsession leaves Tara frustrated, however, not giving her the space or agency she needs to cope in her own way. Chad and Mindy Meeks Martin, played by Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown, return this time around as well to complete the core 4 as they eventually grow to call it. When Ghostface barges into their dorm and disrupts their lives yet again, this new gang is thrown into a chase across New York City, adding a dingy sense of metropolitan dread when taken away from the aesthetically suburban safety of Woodsboro. The setting itself here feels unique for the franchise, truly setting up this feeling that terror could be lurking anywhere within a swarm of strangers. The subway chase especially remains a highlight not just for this film, but for the entire franchise. I honestly think this balance of tension and comedy hasn't been this successful since the 1996 original. Scream 2022 made the classic legacy sequel conundrum of holding on too dearly to its original cast. Even its cheeky self-awareness wasn't enough to quite justify its weak storytelling. With this direct sequel, however, Gillette and Olpin proved that this premise can still be fun and functional with a fresh coat of paint and new sense of direction. The kills this time around feature the goriest moments within this entire franchise, pushing this boundary of where these movies can go almost 30 years later. It remains campy too, while finding a narrative with its core 4 that feels exciting without blatantly retreading old ground, all while respecting the source material in the first place. Courtney Cox and Hayden Panettiere reprise their roles in a manner that feels as if they supplement the story and new cast without taking too much away from their journey, finding a balance that the last entry couldn't achieve. Jenna Ortega steals the show consistently and honestly proves she can carry this franchise on her own if needed. Melissa Barrera unfortunately pales yet again in comparison to the rest of the cast, though she does successfully pull off that bombastic finale, arguably the best character moment for her within these past 2 movies. But much like its predecessor, Tara's arc remains so hinged on that of Billy Loomis's, opting to execute this in a manner that feels cheap once again. Exploring your trauma and lineage is an interesting concept, but it's one that Bettinelli-Olpin and Gillette don't quite have the means to tackle. Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown have wonderful chemistry with the entirety of the cast, and honestly carry some of the highlights of the film. The latter especially having some hilariously self-aware dialogue that defines the franchise. However, I won't lie, there are some moments that lean very heavily into the fellow kids category, and one scene with Panettiere and Brown especially comes to mind when they go back and forth about all these films in an attempt to relate to the younger cinephiles in the audience. And though the reveal is a bit dumb and the finale feels jumbled together, it carries itself with such campy, confident grace that I can't be too mad about it. If this tone and direction is what the future of the franchise holds, I'm most certainly excited again. If the filmmakers sharpen their strengths and shed off their weaknesses, I honestly think this series has found a new high worth striving for. So yeah, with all that said, guys, I'm gonna have to give Scream 6 a 3 out of 5. I think it's a very fun movie for what it's worth. It's got some great gore, some good tension, and some good comedy sprinkled around here and there. Where it doesn't work, however, is still maybe hanging on a little too much to these older characters when I genuinely think they should just shed them out and completely go in a different direction. It also just leaves off in a manner where I was more invested in this newer cast than the last film, and I genuinely do want to see them come back and either conclude their story or just come back for another ride, because this was fun enough. I don't think it reaches the highs of the first movie at all, but it does its own thing. I wasn't bored, I had a good time, and more Jenna Ortega in movies can never be a bad thing. So with all that said, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm going to be working on a few more coming out soon, maybe Shazam! Fury of the Gods or Return to Seoul. So thank you for watching. My name is Abby. This was Spaceman Chuck. Make sure to stay tuned.